Good morning, everybody. It's 1 week since I started this kind of journey to look at my fitness levels and improve my overall speed, power, watts, endurance and recovery. And today was a weigh-in day. So I've just done that, and I will put that bit of video in a sec. But just looking back over the data, so 1 week ago I was 84.8 kilos, and today 83.7. So that's 1100 grams or 1.1 kilos, 2.2 pounds lost in 1 week. Now, I think the majority of that has come from a mixture of each day I've been doing a turbo session or a big ride. So I'm losing between 500 and 700. So I'm losing about 500 or 700 calories during each one of those sessions, and then I'm replenishing that with good old plain water. On top of that, cutting down on portion sizes and eating less carbohydrates. So I'm addicted to bread, pita bread, baguettes, croissants, and so cutting out of that and bringing in some fruit. So as the old adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I've been having an apple a day as well. And I find a simple trick for eating apples of a core thing. So you push it down on the apple, it cuts the core out, puts everything into slices, just like a child's portion, I suppose. But I find it really easy to just do that whack, and then you can eat them just after your lunch or whatever. So that's been the last week. Today, as I say, the weigh-in, but also now an FTP test. So I'm just setting up the machine now, and then we'll follow me through the ramp test in a minute. So keep watching. I haven't done one of these for 3 months, maybe 4 months, maybe even longer. At that point, my FTP dropped from 233 down to 226. So we'll see what the last, say, 6 months has either done or not done for me. So stay tuned for the Sufferfest. Let's go. So just reading about the ramp test here. As it says here, it takes a little bit less time than the full FTP test. And I'll come back to that later. But basically, it does a calculation over the session to give you an estimated FTP test. Obviously, important to remain seated because it's testing your power, not your power with your body weight, putting an impact on that. And also ERG mode. So the ERG mode is a mode on the turbo trainer that calculates the watts that it needs to be at. So if the test is asking you to complete 3 minutes at 125 watts, no matter how hard you go, it'll either back off the turbo trainer, so you're putting less effort, so your cadence will go up, but the power will go down, or stay at that level. So you can never kind of go above that 125 for very long. So we're just loading up Australia as the map. As I said before, it doesn't matter what map you use for a test. It ignores elevation gains and losses. It's just there to provide a backdrop, keep you entertained more than anything else. You can run these FTP tests just as a data through something like Golden Cheetah, but it just adds something visually exciting to keep you stimulated. You can think something out apart from the pain that you'll be in. So, warm-up session, and then a bunch of incremental steps of power until I can go no longer, so that it gets easier up through your zones until you start peaking through the zone 4 and zone 5 and then zone 6. And as it says on the screen, every second counts once you get to that last bit where you really are struggling. So now it's just about keeping it steady, following the watts on the screen. So why am I doing this? As I said, it's more about a personal journey, really, just to kind of understand more about me, my athletic ability or lack of athletic ability, and then see if I can improve on that. Deep down, I think a lot of people are very competitive. I'll say that my wife isn't. She's probably the least competitive person. She loves doing things. She's doing the marathon, but it doesn't seem to be driven by competition at all. So hopefully I might be able to spur her on. As you can see on the screen here, I'm pushing 140 watts, where I should be pushing 104, but it's quite difficult to stop that and get down to 104 when you're in these zone 1 and zone 2 levels for myself. So I think, as I was saying, that the calculations for the zones, especially at these lower levels, do seem a bit inconsistent. So when you get up into the high ones, though, yeah, they're right. So 10 seconds before the start of the ramp. The ramp actually starts at zone 1 anyway, but then we're 1 minute sections, starting at 118. So try and keep as low as I can. Save that energy for the top half. Heart rate 122, cadence 74. During this week's training, it's been recommended to be around 85 to 95 RPMs for the cadence, apart from the times where it says it wants you to go to 100 to 105. And it's interesting, some of those sessions I've been doing, another minute, up to 131. Some of those sessions that I've been doing, by the look of them, they don't look very hard, but they're asking you for the cadence. So you're up around 200 watts for 7 or 8 minutes at 100 RPM. After you've done that 2 or 3 times, the fatigue does set up. Once you've done that for a couple of times, the fatigue does kind of set in on your legs. So it's interesting to see how these training plans manipulate muscle groups and work on the body in a different way each time. One, 4, 5. 124 beats per minute. Cadence is going up slightly now as well. And into zone 3, 172 watts. Cadence fairly steady at around 82, 83, 84. So between 80 and 85. Heart rate 132. So as we progress up, the heart rate's obviously going up with it as well. So we should get a max heart rate as well. Reading for that, somewhere in 172 region. And you can see I'm not having to do anything on the computer or the turbo trainer apart from pedaling harder. And then it balances out at that 185 limit. Last minute in zone 3. $199 watts required. Heart rate now 142. So I'm reading an interesting book called Fast After 50. I'm only part way through it, but it's explaining what the body goes through kind of post 50 and how you can do your best to stave off that aging. And obviously VO2 max is a key indicator, which we'll loop back to at the end after the test. 212. Heart rate 144. Cadence still 82 to 85. We're now in zone 4 for 2 minutes. I did have a rest day yesterday. It says to leave at least 24 hours. So I left 36. 226. $257, $267 required. Last 30 seconds of zone 5. Breathing is now laboured. Heart rate 167. Quads are getting tired. Zone 6. 280. So now it's just about grinding out the minutes. Trying to calm the breathing. $294 now. $169 heart rate. $170. $307 needed. $174. I'm done. So just under 30 seconds now to the unveiling of my FTP. I have no idea if it's going to go up or down. So I'll be as excited as anybody else, probably nobody else, to be fair, that will be interested in my FTP. But it'll form part of the next few weeks of training and this time trial phase that I'm going through at the moment. So here we go. Drum roll, please. So 1 week, I've gained 3 watts, so 1%. So that's good, better than nothing, and on the right trajectory. And it may have been influenced, as I said, by doing all of the sessions this week as well and only taking just over a day's rest, where I think you're supposed to do 48 hours. So anyway, where does this leave me? Okay, so what I've done is I've spoken to Marjon University in Plymouth, who have a sports science lab, and they will do a full VO2 max assessment on me. That's the one with the mask, working out how much you you take in from an oxygen perspective, how you use it, but also a lactate threshold. So when my quads were burning, that's obviously the lactate, or as I've read, it's hydrogen ions caused by lactate that are the baddies in the scenario. But we're going to have that full test done in a laboratory. So we're looking at my full kind of health status. It won't do FTP, but we'll do another FTP the week after that, and then I can report back on all of that in one session. And hopefully they'll let us film in the lab as well, so you can have a look at what goes on for a lactate and VO2 max testing. So guys, thank you very much for watching. If there's any comments or anything you want to know, then put them in the comments below. Please hit that subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, and I'll catch you in a week's time. Thank you very much. So I don't know why I've done this, but after my FTP test, I thought it would be a good idea to do a 5k base run. So I haven't run for months and months and months, so we'll just have to see how far we go, and if I pull up lame like I did last time, then seriously think about giving up running anyway. So yeah, just throw this in at the end of the video just to be a bit silly, really, I think. And it's very, very windy, so I don't think it's going to be a great run. Anyway, catch me in a minute. About a mile and a half in now. First mile checkpoint was about 8:50, which includes some uphill. So if I can get back to 8.5, I'll be happy with that for a starting effort. This is the first 5k in my new shoes. Whirlwind Sports. I'm sure it'll help me because I've got a lot of overpronation. So trying to re-correct that needed some help because I kept tearing Achilles tendons, but having not done one for such a long time, not sure if I'm going to tear one again. I hope so. Sorry, I hope not. But we'll see. A bit more uphill now. Then we're into the park. And there's a nice couple of loops. Very flat in here. Looks like the park's been made ready for spring. It's really nice. One and 3/4 now.